Start.
Hello and welcome to the first match of Season 2 of the Event Championships. We have both teams coming in a fairly acute angle and with Nasty Boys balled up away from the centre.
Yeah, I'm really curious on the warp-ins here for Sudden Otters and just their picks all together with that burst. That Armageddon could cause a lot of issues for that burst, and with Frigate Logi, especially being a T1 Frigate Logi, he's gonna have a lot of issues with just his tank overall and just being able to survive under the Ocelot. And you also have the newts coming out of the Armageddon. This Frigate Logi is a really high risk pick here from Sudden Otters.
It is indeed, and if that Geddon can get newts on him, it is an injected fit, but he's going to lose a lot of his survivability and all of his mobility if he can't keep cap up, which is going to be very telling across the first moments of the game. Rock came in close, which makes sense, but the acute angle kind of negates that, so we're going to have to see a lot of heavy burning if that Rock wants to get into the Nasty Boys team.
And we can't forget about the Dragoon of the Nasty Boys here. That's also going to apply a really good control of its newt and NOS pressure. It's be really awesome to see how if Sudden Otters could actually do something with this comp, and as the match starts and they start burning away, and the Rook is what be the linchpin ship for them burning right into the Nasty Boys team.
Yeah, and immediately you see Nika Noiser trying to pull range with that burst, damage going onto the Thrasher, but not exactly sticking. The burst is with it, keeping it wrapped. Whereas damage going back onto that Oracle, it's already had its shield stripped away. But
okay. So what Nasty Boys could do here is that they could look to see when the burst is away from a specific target and then focus on that target, because the burst to apply its reps have to get close, really close. This is not a Cruiser Logi, so it's not going to have that great range like you'll see in the Cruiser Logi ship.
Yes, and we're seeing lots of damage going onto that Dragoon now. It is getting reps, but it's not holding too well, just passing down past half armor at the moment.
Yeah, so Dragoons is one of the easier targets here to hit for the Sudden Otters team. The Rifter having a very small signature and being really fast, but Dragoon being in destroyer size is going to take a lot of damage, easily applied from the Ferox at rail and the Rapid Lights from the Caracal, and the Rook could just easily put in some null damage right on that Dragoon.
But he does appear to be holding. However, that Rock has got into the Nasty Boys team. He's got his grappler on the Armageddon of Killer 542, and he's probably going to be burning down, trying to get onto it, but he's taken a lot of damage to do so.
Yes. What Nasty Boys need to do here is they need to go aggressive on this Rogue. They could take advantage of this burst. It's not going to put a lot of rep power out. They could melt this Rogue if they want to. I don't know. They should really be going on the aggressive here. Yes, they got an Oracle, and they just lost a Dragoon there.
They
under reps.
Then again, that Caracal, big pick in the Cruiser slot, it brings a lot of damage that can apply to small targets incredibly well. However, that Rock is pushing down past about 30% shields now. He's going to have an ancillary booster, but it is only an ancillary booster. It's not going to keep him alive forever. And there is a lot of damage coming out from both the Oracle and the Geddon at this point.
And the fact that Dragoon went down is a big win for Sudden Otters, because they just got rid of a lot of control on the Nasty Boys team, because now they only have one newting ship to deal with. That Dragoon could have done a lot of work on that if it ever came in close, just because it'll cycle much faster than the heavy newts coming of the Armageddon.
And here we see suddenly some damage is going across to the Caracal of Ice Heliat, while that Rock has just managed to get itself right back up to high shields. The burst has come in and brought reps onto it, which is incredibly good. They've been able to keep the burst safe by getting rid of the Dragoon and only used its reps when they have to restore the entire buffer on that Rock.
Yeah, a lot of the reps that are being put in the Rock, it's its own local tank, but this massive amount of Logi drones that are just on him,
but able to easily apply a lot of damage. He's under reps, but he's probably going down now to that Rock's damage.
And that Oracle goes down. This is not looking good for Nasty Boys. They definitely had an advantage here going up against a team that has a Frig Logi and they decided to kind of take it passive and not use the control that they had to be the big aggressors here. I think it was a definitely misplay by them back. You need to definitely put pressure on a team like this when you know you're not going up against a comp that has a strong Velogy. Yes, it has local reps on the Rogue, but those only last so long.
And we've just seen them lose their Rifter, which was out tackling that Ferox. I think the Rifter potentially is what we saw them not exploit to the best in this match. They had that tackle frigate that potentially could have got them a lot more application, a lot more control, but most of the time it was sitting back and screening and wasn't going out and finding targets for their big guns to hit.
Yeah, it could have easily screened the Rogue off, because it's going to have trouble hitting from far. So if they screen that Rogue off, it's done. The Rifter does have a scram and web, and the Rogue in itself is kind of a slow ship, but just getting rid of its ability to NWD move to you, then you really only have to worry about the Ferox and Caracal damage application. And of course, you're having a cruise missile fit, and you're gonna be able to apply damage. Now, it's not gonna be the best damage, but they should have definitely been the aggressors here. It's definitely like a role switch. And like, it's surprising to me that there have been no ships that have gone down on the Nasty Boys team. Oh, excuse me, that have gone down on the Southern Otters team. Very not well flown here by Nasty Boys. I'm sure they'll take this loss as a big lesson, and looks like they might actually get a dominating victory here for the Southern Otters side.
Not actually that likely now, because we're seeing Caracal bleeding down into armor, and unless the burst can get back on top of it and Nika Noiser can save it, that Caracal is not going to be long as it's slipping into hull now.
Yeah, look how easy. Look, like, it can't. All they have to do. All this Caracal is only under Armageddon pressure, and it's dropping because Friglogy is not that strong. Like, that's why when you look at Alliance Tournament, you see that you can use 2 Friglogy as a team. This is just one single Logi that's frigate, doesn't have as much rep power, doesn't have as much range, as much tank. Like, it's such a weird pick for me that this Armageddon is able to, it could have just been the big linchpin of the whole Nasty Boys team, but they held it back. But it should have been in there just shooting hits and applying pressure on everything.
That Geddon had a lot of power, because shield comp, that Caracal didn't have any injection, it would have had no hardeners, and that's why it fell quite so quickly. Potentially we're going to see the same thing happen to the Thrasher here if the Geddon can last long enough. It nukes off those hardeners, that Thrasher is very weak, but we're seeing a lot of damage go onto that Geddon, and it's probably going to be dropping first. There it goes.
Yeah, there goes the Geddon. Very surprising victory coming out Southern Otters. I feel that was definitely came down to a piloting and target calling there, and how aggressive you're going to be. Sometimes, even though you might look like you have a strong composition, it's all how you fly it and apply. We'll send it back to the studio.